Karma is often misunderstood as a system of reward and punishment, but it's far more profound than that. It's the echo of our actions, the ripples of energy we send into the universe. Every deed, every word, every thought creates a resonance that eventually returns to its source. But here's the key: karma is not about revenge, it's about balance. It's the universe's way of restoring harmony, a cosmic rhythm that ensures no action is without consequence. So when karma is hitting them back, it's not for us to revel in their downfall, but to understand the nature of this universal truth. Karma is a fascinating and often misunderstood concept. It is not merely about punishment for wrongdoings or rewards for virtuous actions. It's the natural rhythm of the universe, the cycle of cause and effect playing out in the fabric of existence. To understand karma is to see it as a force that transcends moral judgment, a reflection of the energy we put into the world and the way it ultimately shapes the reality around us. It's a process as impartial and unrelenting as gravity, a law of the universe, binding us all to the consequences of our actions. Think of karma as a ripple in a pond. When you toss a stone into the water, the ripples spread outward, touching every surface they meet. Eventually they return to the center, to the place where the stone first entered. This is the essence of karma. Every action we take, every intention we hold, creates ripples in the universe, and those ripples will inevitably come back to us. It's not about divine retribution or cosmic justice, it's about balance, a harmony that the universe naturally seeks to maintain. The energy you emit, be it positive or negative, will find its way back to you, like a boomerang you didn't know you threw. People often associate karma with the idea of fairness, thinking it will get back at someone who wronged them. But this perspective is limited and often rooted in ego. Karma is not a personal hitman, nor is it fueled by your desires for revenge. It does not operate on your timeline or cater to your preferences. Instead, it functions as an impartial force, guided by the unseen threads of interconnectedness that bind all things. It is not here to satisfy your need for justice, but to restore equilibrium where it has been disrupted. Understanding karma requires us to shift our perspective from the immediate to the infinite. When someone harms you, the universe doesn't necessarily strike back at them in ways you can see or comprehend. It works quietly, subtly weaving the consequences of their actions into the tapestry of their life. The results might not be apparent today, tomorrow, or even in this lifetime. But rest assured, the energy they have sown will be reaped. This is why patience and trust are essential. The universe doesn't rush, it unfolds in its own time, and its wisdom is far greater than our need for instant gratification. Many people worry about how or when karma will manifest, as if by waiting for it they can control the outcome. But this is another illusion. Karma isn't something we wield, it's something we align with. When we obsess over whether someone is getting what they deserve, we disconnect ourselves from the flow of life. In doing so, we risk generating our own negative energy, feeding into cycles of resentment and anger that only harm us in the end. Instead, we must learn to release these thoughts, trusting the process without clinging to the need for vindication. This detachment doesn't mean you approve of harmful actions or ignore injustice. On the contrary, it means you recognize that your power lies in how you choose to respond. You can't control how karma unfolds for someone else, but you can shape your own karma by acting with integrity, compassion, and grace. Letting go of the desire to see karma in action is not about weakness or complacency, it's about stepping into a higher understanding of the universe's workings. It's about realizing that your peace matters more than their reckoning. The true beauty of karma is its impartiality. It doesn't care who you are, what you believe, or how much power you hold. It acts on the energy you create. If someone has wronged you, their actions have already set their karma in motion. They may not see it yet, they may even think they've escaped it, but life has a way of presenting lessons when we least expect them, and the lessons that karma delivers are always perfectly timed, perfectly suited to the person who needs them. In this way, karma becomes a teacher, not a punisher. It offers opportunities for growth and redemption, for reflection and self-awareness. For those who have wronged others, karma is not an eternal damnation, but a chance to confront the pain they've caused, to learn, and ultimately to change. And for those who've been wronged, karma is a reminder that we are not responsible for anyone else's journey, only our own. It frees us from the weight of carrying others' transgressions and allows us to move forward with clarity and purpose. To understand karma is to understand the profound interconnectedness of all things. Nothing happens in isolation. Every action sends ripples through the universe, connecting us in ways we may never fully grasp. So when you feel the sting of someone's actions, remember that their karma is already at work. Trust that the universe is handling it, not out of vengeance, but out of a desire for balance. And in the meantime, focus on your own actions, your own intentions, and the ripples you are creating. After all, the energy you send out is the energy that will return to you. The illusion of control is one of the greatest challenges we face as human beings. We like to believe that we can manage outcomes, influence the course of events, and ensure justice plays out according to our expectations. When we feel wronged, it's natural to want to take the reins, to seek some form of control over how others face the consequences of their actions. But life doesn't work that way, and karma, in its infinite wisdom, reminds us of this truth. Karma is not something we command or manipulate. It is a natural process, indifferent to our desires and timelines. When someone harms us, it's tempting to obsess over how they will get what they deserve. We might replay scenarios in our minds, imagining the perfect moment when karma will catch up to them. This fixation, however, binds us to the very pain we are trying to escape. The more we focus on someone else's reckoning, the more we lose touch with our own journey. We start to feed our energy into resentment and anger, emotions that tether us to the past and prevent us from moving forward. Ironically, in trying to control how karma plays out for someone else, we often end up creating negative karma for ourselves. The truth is, we are not the architects of karma. It is not ours to direct or manipulate. Karma works on its own terms, governed by laws far beyond our understanding. It unfolds in ways we cannot predict, often in places we cannot see. What looks like someone getting away with their actions may simply be part of a larger lesson they have yet to encounter. Their path is not your path, and their karma is not your concern. This doesn't mean you condone what they've done or that their actions are without consequence. It means you recognize that the universe has its own way of restoring balance, a way that doesn't rely on your intervention. Letting go of control requires trust, and this is where many of us struggle. Trusting karma means accepting that the universe knows what it's doing, even if it doesn't look that way from your perspective. It means recognizing that life's justice system is not immediate or always visible, but is ultimately infallible. This kind of trust is liberating. When you release the need to control how someone else is held accountable, you free yourself from the emotional weight of their actions. You reclaim your energy and redirect it toward your own growth and healing. Some might argue that letting go is passive, that it allows wrongdoers to escape responsibility. But letting go is not about passivity, it's about wisdom. It's about understanding that your peace is more valuable than your need for retribution. When you trust karma, you are not giving up on justice, you are acknowledging that justice exists on a scale far greater than you. You're choosing to step out of the cycle of anger and pain, to rise above the chaos that someone else's actions have created. Control is an illusion, and the harder we cling to it, the more we suffer. When you try to force karma or demand immediate consequences, you are fighting against the flow of life. Karma doesn't need your help, it doesn't need your impatience. The universe operates on a rhythm that cannot be rushed. Trusting that rhythm allows you to focus on what truly matters, your own journey, your own healing, and the positive energy you can contribute to the world. It's also important to recognize that karma is not about revenge. It is not a weapon to wield against those who have wronged you. Karma is a teacher, a mirror that reflects the energy we put into the world. When someone acts with malice, that energy is reflected back to them in ways they must eventually confront. Their reckoning is part of their growth, their journey towards self-awareness. It is not your role to decide when or how this happens. In trying to force karma, you may inadvertently block the lessons they are meant to learn. There's also a profound freedom in accepting that you cannot control karma. When you release the need to monitor or direct its course, you step into a state of surrender, not a surrender to defeat, but a surrender to the wisdom of the universe. This surrender is empowering because it allows you to focus on what you can control: your own actions, your own energy, and your own responses to the challenges life presents. In doing so, you align yourself with the flow of life, creating positive ripples that will return to you in ways you may not yet imagine. The illusion of control is seductive, but it's also a trap. The moment you let go of the need to manage karma, you open yourself to a deeper sense of peace. You trust that the universe is not only fair but profoundly wise, and you allow yourself to move forward unburdened by the weight of another's actions. This is the essence of liberation: freedom from the chains of resentment, freedom from the illusion that you must oversee the universe's work. Trust that karma is already in motion, and focus on what you can create in your own life. The rest will take care of itself. Healing through understanding is one of the most profound lessons karma offers us. Often when we think of karma, we view it through the lens of justice, seeing others pay for their misdeeds and expecting satisfaction when that happens. But karma is not about vengeance or punishment, it is about restoration and growth. It is a force that seeks to balance the scales of life, and in doing so provides opportunities for everyone involved to evolve and heal. This perspective transforms how we relate to the pain others may have caused us. Instead of waiting for the universe to deliver its payback, we begin to see how understanding the process of karma can help us move forward. When someone harms you, it's natural to feel anger, sadness, or betrayal. These emotions are valid and need to be acknowledged. However, staying in these states for too long can create a cycle of suffering that binds you to the pain of the past. Understanding karma helps to break this cycle. It allows you to step back and see the bigger picture. The actions of others are reflections of their inner state, their struggles, and their unhealed wounds. People act from their level of awareness, and sometimes that awareness is limited. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you detach from the idea that their actions were about you. Karma is not only a mirror for those who hurt others, it is also a mirror for us. It reflects where we are in our own journey, highlighting areas where we might need to grow. If someone's actions trigger deep pain or anger, it's an opportunity to look inward and ask why. What unhealed wounds are they touching? What lessons can be learned from this experience? Karma provides not only consequences but also insight. When we embrace this perspective, we move away from the need for retribution and toward the possibility of personal transformation. One of the most liberating aspects of karma is understanding that it works on its own timeline. You may not see the effects of someone's actions immediately, and sometimes you may never witness them at all. This doesn't mean karma isn't at work, it simply means its lessons are unfolding in ways that aren't always visible to you. The beauty of karma is its impartiality. It doesn't play favorites or respond to emotional appeals. It works quietly, weaving the consequences of actions into the lives of those involved. Trusting this process frees you from the burden of wanting to see others get what they deserve and allows you to focus on your own path to healing. Healing begins when we release the need to control or even witness karma's effects on others. Holding on to resentment or waiting for someone else to suffer only prolongs your own pain. By understanding karma's role as a teacher and restorer of balance, you can let go of the weight of anger and hurt. This doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't matter. It means choosing not to let it define you. It means recognizing that your healing is not contingent on their reckoning. Their journey is their own, and so is yours. Compassion is a powerful tool in the process of healing. When you understand that people act from their own pain or ignorance, it becomes easier to let go of the resentment that keeps you tied to their actions. Compassion doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, it means acknowledging the humanity in others, even when they've wronged you. It means recognizing that they too are subject to karma, and that their actions will lead them to the lessons they need to learn. This perspective doesn't diminish your pain, but rather reframes it, helping you to see it as part of a larger, universal process of growth and balance. Healing through understanding also involves shifting your focus away from what others are experiencing and toward your own well-being. The energy you spend thinking about someone else's karma is energy you could be using to create joy, peace, and purpose in your own life. When you trust that karma is already in motion, you free yourself to live more fully in the present. You begin to see that your greatest power lies not in waiting for others to face their consequences, but in choosing how you respond to the challenges you faced. In this way, karma becomes a tool for your own growth, rather than a mechanism for someone else's punishment. Ultimately, the process of healing through understanding is one of reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that you are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you rise from it. Karma is not just about what happens to others, it's about how you choose to align with the universal laws of balance and energy. By understanding karma as a process of restoration and growth, you take the first step toward healing, not by seeking justice outside of yourself, but by finding peace within. The cycle of karma ensures that every action has a consequence, but your healing ensures that you are no longer tethered to theirs. This is the ultimate freedom and the deepest understanding of karma's purpose. The concept of karma as a mirror is one of its most enlightening aspects. Karma reflects the truth of our actions, not through external judgment, but through the experiences it brings into our lives. It's a profound teacher holding up a mirror that shows not just the consequences of what we do, but the motivations, intentions, and energies behind those actions. For those who have wronged others, karma's reflection is a necessary confrontation. It doesn't reveal who someone else is or what they think about them, it reveals who they have been in the world. This self-revelation is at the heart of karma's transformative power. When someone harms others or acts with malice, they may do so from a place of ignorance, fear, or unresolved pain. In the moment they might feel justified, even invincible, convinced that their actions are without consequence. But karma has a way of peeling back those illusions. Over time, it creates situations where the same energy they've emitted comes back to them, forcing them to face the ripple effects of their behavior. These moments can be difficult and often come as a shock, as if life itself has turned against them. But what is really happening is the universe holding up a mirror, showing them the energy they've put out into the world. This reflection is not a punishment, but an opportunity. When people are confronted with the results of their actions, they are given a chance to change. They can see the patterns they've created and decide whether to continue them or to transform their behavior. This is one of karma's greatest gifts. It doesn't trap us in cycles of wrongdoing, but offers us the tools to break free. For some, this realization comes quickly. For others, it may take years or even lifetimes. But the mirror is always there, waiting for them to look into it with honesty and courage. For those on the receiving end of harm, understanding karma as a mirror can be deeply liberating. It shifts the focus away from the harm itself and toward a broader perspective. The actions of others are not about you, they are about them. If someone has treated you poorly, that behavior reflects their internal struggles, their fears, and their unresolved issues, not your worth or value as a person. This understanding helps you detach from the pain they've caused, allowing you to see their actions as part of their own journey, rather than a reflection of your identity. Karma's mirror also works in reverse. It shows us how we respond to the actions of others, revealing our own tendencies, reactions, and emotional patterns. When someone harms you, your reaction becomes part of your own karma. Do you hold on to anger, seeking revenge or retribution? Or do you choose to let go, trusting that the universe will handle things in its own way? This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending you weren't hurt. It means acknowledging your feelings while choosing not to let them control your actions. By doing so, you break the cycle of negativity and create a ripple of healing instead. One of the most powerful lessons of karma is that you cannot escape your own reflection. Just as others must face the consequences of their actions, so must you. This isn't something to fear, but something to embrace. It means that every kind word, every compassionate act, and every moment of forgiveness creates a positive ripple that will come back to you. The mirror works both ways, reflecting the good as well as the bad. When you act with integrity, love, and kindness, those qualities become part of your karmic legacy, shaping the energy that surrounds you. It's important to remember that karma's timing is not always immediate or obvious. You may not see the reflection of someone's actions in a way that satisfies your sense of justice. But that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Karma operates on a level beyond our understanding, weaving its threads into the fabric of life in ways we cannot always perceive. The mirror may not appear in the ways you expect, but it is always there, reflecting the truth with unwavering clarity. Trusting this process allows you to focus on your own growth rather than fixating on the experiences of others. When you understand karma as a mirror, you begin to see life itself as a teacher. Every experience, every interaction becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. The people who challenge you, the situations that test you, and even the pain you endure all serve to show you something about yourself. They reveal your strengths, your weaknesses, and your capacity for resilience. They push you to evolve, to rise above the limitations of the past, and to step into a more authentic version of yourself. Ultimately, karma's mirror is a tool for transformation. It allows you to see not only who you've been, but who you have the potential to become. It shows you the patterns that need to change, the wounds that need to heal, and the gifts that you can share with the world. By embracing this reflection, you align yourself with the flow of life, creating a path that is not only in harmony with the universe, but also deeply fulfilling. The mirror of karma is not something to fear, but something to honor. It is the universe's way of guiding us back to our true selves, one reflection at a time. Focusing on your path rather than the paths of others is one of the most freeing decisions you can make in life. It is easy to get caught up in the desire to see how karma unfolds for someone who has wronged you. You might find yourself wondering if they are facing consequences, struggling to resist the temptation to check on their lives, and hoping for signs that they are getting what they deserve, but this focus doesn't bring peace. It keeps you tethered to the pain of the past. True freedom comes when you let go of this need and redirect your energy to your own growth, healing, and purpose. When you concentrate on someone else's karma, you are giving away your power. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources, and where you direct it shapes your reality. By focusing on someone else's experiences, you are allowing their actions to define your present. This doesn't mean that what they did was insignificant or that your feelings aren't valid. It simply means that continuously revisiting their behavior and waiting for their reckoning keeps you stuck in a cycle of resentment. Meanwhile, the life you could be creating, the joy, peace, and success you could be cultivating is left unattended. Your path is unique to you, and your journey is about much more than how others behave. It's about discovering who you are, what you value, and what you want to contribute to the world. The challenges you face, including the pain others may have caused, are opportunities for growth. When you focus on your own path, you begin to see those challenges not as obstacles, but as stepping stones to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. They become lessons that strengthen you rather than burdens that weigh you down. Letting go of the need to monitor someone else's karma doesn't mean you are excusing their behavior. It means you are prioritizing your well-being and choosing not to let their actions control your life. Forgiveness in this context is not about forgetting or condoning, it's about releasing the hold their actions have on your heart and mind. It's about reclaiming your energy and redirecting it towards something more meaningful. By focusing on your own path, you shift your perspective from being a victim of their actions to being the creator of your own life. Trusting that karma will handle what it needs to also allows you to focus on creating positive karma for yourself. Every choice you make, every intention you set contributes to the energy you send out into the world. When you act with integrity, kindness, and authenticity, you are shaping a future that aligns with those qualities. This doesn't mean life will always be easy, but it does mean that the energy you invest in the world will return to you in ways that support your growth and happiness. By focusing on your own actions, you are not only ensuring your peace, but also contributing to the balance and harmony of the universe. It's important to recognize that focusing on your path doesn't mean ignoring the impact of others' actions or pretending they don't affect you. It means acknowledging that their journey is theirs to navigate and yours is yours. You can't control their choices just as they can't control yours. Trying to dictate how someone else learns their lessons only distracts you from learning your own. The more you focus on their karma, the less energy you have for your healing aspirations and dreams. Letting go is not an act of weakness, but a declaration of strength, a decision to prioritize your own growth over their reckoning. Living with this mindset doesn't just bring peace, it brings clarity. When you focus on your path, you begin to see what truly matters. The small, petty concerns of others fade into the background, replaced by the larger, more meaningful questions of your life. What brings you joy? What drives your passions? What legacy do you want to leave behind? These are the questions that guide a fulfilling life, and they are only answerable when you let go of the distractions that don't serve you. As you walk your path, you may find that the karma of others unfolds naturally, often in ways you couldn't have imagined. Their lessons are theirs to learn, and they will come when the time is right. Watching for their downfall or hoping for their struggle doesn't speed up this process, it only keeps you tethered to them. Trust that the universe is in control and that its timing is always perfect. This trust allows you to release the weight of their actions and focus fully on creating the life you deserve. Ultimately, focusing on your path is an act of self-love. It is a choice to honor your worth, your dreams, and your potential. It's a commitment to living authentically without being defined by the actions of others. By letting go of what you can't control and embracing what you can, you open yourself to a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The road ahead is yours to walk, and the energy you put into it will shape the journey. So choose to focus on the path that leads to your highest self, and trust that everything else will fall into place as it should. Have you ever noticed how laziness whispers promises of comfort, yet leaves you feeling empty and stagnant? These lazy thoughts are like weeds in the garden of your mind, choking the potential for creativity and action. But here's the truth: your thoughts are not your masters, they are your tools. It's time to awaken, to realize that the illusion of comfort in laziness is a trap. The present moment, the now, is your arena for action. Embrace it fully, flow with it, and discover the freedom that lies in discipline. This is how you kill your lazy thoughts and step into the vibrant life waiting for you. Your thoughts are not your masters, they are your tools. They are meant to serve you, to guide you, and to help you create a life that aligns with your purpose. Yet so often we fall into the trap of letting our thoughts control us. Lazy thoughts, in particular, are insidious. They whisper, "Take it easy, you deserve a break," or "This can wait until tomorrow." On the surface, they seem harmless, even comforting. But in truth, they are like weeds in the garden of your mind. If left unchecked, they spread, suffocating the vibrant growth of creativity, discipline, and ambition. Consider for a moment how these lazy thoughts sneak into your daily life. You wake up with plans, aspirations, and perhaps a to-do list that holds the promise of progress. But as the day unfolds, a subtle resistance emerges. The thoughts of doubt creep in. Do I really need to do this now? Or what difference does it make? Suddenly, the idea of lying on the couch, scrolling through your phone, or binge-watching another episode seems far more appealing. These thoughts take root not because they are true, but because they play on your desire for immediate gratification. They promise relief from effort, but what they truly deliver is a sense of stagnation and guilt. The reality is that lazy thoughts do not serve you. They rob you of time, energy, and the satisfaction that comes from accomplishment. They are masters of disguise, cloaking themselves as self-care or relaxation, when in fact they lead you further away from the life you desire. Thoughts are tools, and like any tool, they can build or destroy depending on how they are used. A hammer can construct a house or demolish it. Similarly, your thoughts can construct your dreams or dismantle them. The key lies in recognizing this dynamic and taking back control. When you allow lazy thoughts to dominate, you lose sight of the bigger picture. You become trapped in a cycle of inaction, where each moment of procrastination feeds into the next. Over time, this creates a sense of inertia or heaviness that makes even small tasks feel monumental. But here's the good news: you are not powerless in this struggle. Just as lazy thoughts creep in, they can be consciously pushed out. The first step is awareness. Start to observe your thoughts without judgment. Notice when a lazy thought arises and label it for what it is: a distraction, not a directive. Once you identify these thoughts, the next step is to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? More often than not, you'll find that lazy thoughts are grounded in fear or avoidance. Perhaps it's the fear of failure or the discomfort of effort that fuels them. But here's the paradox: the discomfort you avoid by giving in to lazy thoughts pales in comparison to the discomfort of regret. Think about that for a moment. Which is heavier, the fleeting effort of action or the lingering weight of unfulfilled potential? The beauty of your mind is that it is adaptable. You can train it to serve you better. Each time you push through a lazy thought and take action, no matter how small, you strengthen your mental resilience. Over time, this becomes a habit, a muscle you build with repetition. Just as physical exercise becomes easier with practice, so too does the discipline of choosing productive thoughts over lazy ones. Remember, your thoughts are tools. They are not the architects of your reality. You are. You hold the power to decide which thoughts to nurture and which to discard. Lazy thoughts may seem persistent, but they are not indestructible. With awareness, intention, and action, you can uproot them and replace them with thoughts that empower you, drive you forward, and align with the life you truly want. The choice is always yours. Laziness often disguises itself as comfort, offering a sense of ease and relief from the pressures of life. It tells you to relax, to take a moment, to indulge in doing nothing because you've earned it. On the surface, it seems like a refuge, a safe harbor from the storms of responsibility and ambition. But when you look deeper, you'll see that this illusion of comfort is fleeting and deceptive. Laziness doesn't nurture or rejuvenate you, it stagnates you. The sense of ease it promises is a mirage, and what it truly delivers is dissatisfaction, frustration, and the slow erosion of your sense of purpose. Think of those moments when you've chosen laziness over action. Perhaps you've skipped a workout, procrastinated on a project, or put off a difficult conversation. In the short term, it feels good to avoid the discomfort of effort. But what happens afterward? More often than not, you're left with a nagging sense of guilt or regret. The task you avoided still looms over you, and the time you spent avoiding it feels wasted. This is the paradox of laziness. While it promises comfort, it rarely delivers lasting satisfaction. Instead, it feeds a cycle of avoidance that keeps you trapped in a state of inaction. True comfort does not come from laziness, but from alignment. It arises when your actions are in harmony with your values, goals, and desires. When you actively engage with life, when you take on challenges, pursue your passions, and push through discomfort, you create a sense of fulfillment that no amount of idleness can replicate. This is because human beings are not designed for stagnation. We are creatures of growth, constantly evolving and adapting. Laziness, by its very nature, is a refusal to grow. It is a surrender to inertia, a choice to remain where you are rather than striving for something better. The allure of laziness often lies in its immediacy. It offers instant gratification, the pleasure of resting, the joy of indulgence, or the relief of avoiding something difficult. But this gratification is short-lived. Compare it to the long-term satisfaction that comes from overcoming a challenge, mastering a skill, or achieving a goal. The latter is far more rewarding, yet it requires effort, discipline, and patience. Laziness, on the other hand, demands nothing of you except your time that it consumes without giving anything meaningful in return. And to break free from the illusion of comfort in laziness, you must shift your perspective. Recognize that true comfort is not the absence of effort, but the presence of purpose. When you align your actions with your purpose, even the most challenging tasks become fulfilling. The discomfort of effort is temporary, but the rewards of engagement are lasting. Each step you take toward your goals, no matter how small, builds momentum. Over time, this momentum becomes a source of energy and motivation, propelling you forward. It's important to understand that killing laziness is not about rejecting rest or relaxation. Rest is essential for your well-being, but it is not the same as laziness. Rest is intentional and rejuvenating, a deliberate pause that prepares you for further action. Laziness, in contrast, is avoidance masquerading as rest. It drains your energy rather than replenishing it, leaving you feeling more tired and unmotivated than before. The key is to differentiate between the two and choose rest when you need it and action when it is required. The next time laziness tempts you with its illusion of comfort, pause and reflect. Ask yourself what you truly want. Is it the fleeting ease of doing nothing, or is it the deeper satisfaction of progress and achievement? Remind yourself that the path of least resistance rarely leads to greatness. True comfort comes from knowing you are living fully, embracing challenges and growing into the person you are meant to be. Laziness may promise ease, but action delivers purpose, and there is no greater comfort than that. The present moment is all you truly have. It's the only place where life exists, where action happens, where change begins. Yet how often do you find yourself anywhere but here and now? Lazy thoughts thrive on this disconnection from the present. They whisper distractions about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday, drawing your attention away from the only moment that matters. They convince you that the task at hand can wait, that it's not urgent, or that you're too tired or unmotivated to act now. But these thoughts are nothing more than illusions, robbing you of the opportunity to engage fully with life in this moment. When you allow yourself to drift away from the present, you hand over your power. Procrastination is a thief, not just of time, but of energy and potential. Every time you push a task into the imaginary later, you build a wall between yourself and progress. And that wall grows higher with each delay, making the act of starting feel increasingly overwhelming. But here's the secret: the resistance you feel is often greater than the effort the task requires. The energy spent avoiding action far exceeds the energy needed to take the first step. When you bring your awareness fully into the now and simply begin, you often find that the task is far less daunting than your thoughts made it seem. The key to killing lazy thoughts is to anchor yourself in the present. Focus on what you can do right now, even if it's just a small step. Action doesn't have to be grand or perfect, it simply has to be consistent. There's a magic in starting, in breaking the inertia of inaction. Once you begin, momentum takes over, carrying you forward with surprising ease. It's like pushing a heavy boulder hard at first, but once it's rolling, it moves almost effortlessly. The act of beginning is the most challenging part, but it's also the most transformative. Being fully present doesn't mean you ignore the past or the future, it means you stop living in them. The past holds lessons and the future offers goals, but the present is where you apply those lessons and take steps toward those goals. Lazy thoughts often arise when your mind is preoccupied with what has already happened or what might happen. You dwell on past failures or future uncertainties, and in doing so you freeze. But when you return your focus to the present, you realize that neither the past nor the future can control you unless you let them. The only control they have is the power you give them by dwelling on them. To stay present, cultivate mindfulness in your actions. Treat every task, no matter how mundane, as an opportunity to practice being here and now. When washing dishes, focus on the sensation of the water and the movement of your hands. When working on a project, immerse yourself in the process rather than worrying about the outcome. This simple shift in perspective transforms even the most tedious activities into opportunities for engagement and fulfillment. By grounding yourself in the present, you make space for clarity, creativity, and productivity to flourish. Lazy thoughts lose their grip when you act with intention in the present. They thrive in the gaps between your thoughts and actions, feeding on hesitation and doubt. But when you close those gaps with purposeful action, they have nowhere to take root. The beauty of being present is that it simplifies everything. You don't have to conquer a mountain in a single leap, you just have to take the next step. And then the one after that. Life unfolds moment by moment, and progress is made in the small, consistent actions you take. Remember, the present moment is not just the time to act, it's the time to live. Each second you spend disconnected from it is a second lost forever. Lazy thoughts try to pull you away, but you have the power to resist, to be here, be now, and be active. Engage with life fully without hesitation or distraction. When you kill lazy thoughts and anchor yourself in the present, you unlock the boundless potential that resides within you. Everything you need to succeed is already here, waiting for you to take hold of it. Resistance is a natural part of the human experience. It shows up every time you face a challenge, encounter a new opportunity, or prepare to take meaningful action. It's that invisible force that makes the simplest tasks feel insurmountable and whispers that it's easier to stay still than to move forward. Lazy thoughts feed on resistance, magnifying it and making it seem larger than life. But resistance itself is not the enemy, it's merely a signal that you're standing at the edge of growth. The true challenge lies in how you respond to it, whether you allow it to paralyze you or use it as a cue to begin flowing with action. When you resist action, you create a mental tug of war. Every moment spent avoiding a task intensifies the friction, making the act of starting feel heavier and more daunting. This resistance feeds a cycle of doubt and procrastination, leaving you stuck in a space of indecision. But here's a profound truth: resistance is often an illusion, a trick of the mind that exaggerates the difficulty of the task before you. The energy spent resisting could be redirected into action, where it transforms from a barrier into momentum. The flow is the antidote to resistance. It's the state of being fully immersed in the present, where action becomes effortless and time seems to dissolve. Flow doesn't mean tasks are easy, it means you're fully engaged with them. It's the feeling of writing and losing yourself in the rhythm of the words, or tackling a problem and being so absorbed in the solution that you forget to check the clock. To enter this state, you must stop fighting the current of action and instead surrender to it. This doesn't mean giving up, it means giving in to the process, the effort, and the moment. The first step in overcoming resistance is to let go of the need for perfection. Resistance often arises from fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being good enough. These fears manifest as lazy thoughts, convincing you that it's better not to try at all than to risk falling short. But perfection is an illusion. Progress, not perfection, is what moves you forward. Taking imperfect action is infinitely more productive than waiting for the perfect moment, which may never come. The act of beginning, however flawed, is a declaration that you're willing to grow and improve. Once you begin, flow becomes your ally. The resistance that felt so overwhelming starts to dissipate as you focus on the task at hand. What once seemed monumental becomes manageable, and the inertia of inaction is replaced by the momentum of engagement. This shift isn't magical, it's practical. The human mind thrives on focus and purpose, and when you direct your energy toward a single task, you create the conditions for flow to emerge. It's not about forcing yourself, but about gently redirecting your attention to the work before you. And to cultivate flow, simplify your approach. Break tasks into smaller, manageable steps and focus on completing one step at a time. Eliminate distractions that pull your attention away from the present. Whether it's turning off notifications, setting a timer, or creating a dedicated workspace, these small changes can make a significant difference. The flow thrives in an environment where you can give your undivided attention to the task, free from the noise of the outside world and the clutter of your thoughts. Resistance will never disappear entirely, but it doesn't have to control you. Every time you choose to act despite resistance, you weaken its hold. You build confidence, resilience, and a sense of agency over your life. The more you practice stepping into flow, the easier it becomes to bypass lazy thoughts and engage with what truly matters. Over time, this habit transforms your relationship with resistance. Instead of viewing it as a barrier, you see it as an opportunity, a signal that you're on the cusp of something meaningful. Flow is not reserved for the extraordinary moments of life, it's available in the everyday. It's in the act of writing an email, preparing a meal, or tackling a long overdue project. By surrendering to the process and focusing fully on the now, you discover a sense of ease that transcends resistance. Action becomes less about effort and more about presence. The tasks that once seemed burdensome become opportunities to grow, learn, and create. In the end, resistance is only as powerful as you allow it to be. By choosing flow over resistance, action over hesitation, and presence over avoidance, you reclaim your power. Lazy thoughts may try to hold you back, but they cannot stand against the momentum of purposeful action. Flow is your natural state when you let go of resistance, and within it lies the key to unlocking your potential and living a life of fulfillment. Discipline is often misunderstood. To some, it sounds like a rigid, joyless way of living, a set of strict rules that rob life of its spontaneity. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Discipline is not a prison, it's a doorway to freedom. It's the structure that supports creativity, the foundation upon which you can build a life of meaning and fulfillment. Without discipline, your aspirations remain fantasies and your potential stays locked away. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do what you hate, it's about cultivating the habits and mindset that align your actions with your deepest desires. When you lack discipline, you become a prisoner not of rules, but of chaos. Without discipline, your days drift by without direction, pulled this way and that by fleeting whims and distractions. Lazy thoughts take over, convincing you that there's always more time, that effort isn't worth it, or that the task is too hard. In this state, you're not free, you're trapped in a cycle of procrastination and frustration. Freedom lies not in the absence of structure, but in the ability to act with purpose, to choose your path and walk it with intention. Discipline gives you that power. The beauty of discipline is that it's not something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It begins with small, deliberate actions. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in one day, you simply need to commit to showing up consistently. It's in the seemingly insignificant choices, setting your alarm a little earlier, starting that workout even when you don't feel like it, or spending 10 focused minutes on a project instead of scrolling through your phone. These small acts of discipline compound over time, building momentum and reshaping your habits. One of the most liberating truths about discipline is that it simplifies your life. When you cultivate discipline, you remove the need to negotiate with yourself constantly. Instead of debating whether to act, you simply do. There's no wasted energy in deciding whether to work on your goals because you've already decided. This clarity reduces mental friction and frees up your energy for the things that matter. Paradoxically, this kind of structure creates more room for spontaneity and joy because you're no longer weighed down by the guilt or stress of inaction. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you strengthen your self-confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable of taking action, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. This trust is invaluable because it becomes the foundation for bigger risks and bolder goals. When you trust yourself to do the work, you're more likely to take on challenges that stretch you, knowing you have the resilience and determination to see them through. Lazy thoughts lose their power when you approach life with disciplined intent. They thrive on inconsistency, on those moments when you give in just this once, but discipline builds resilience against these temptations. It creates a habit of action that overrides the lure of laziness. Over time, the effort required to maintain discipline decreases. What once felt difficult becomes second nature, and the disciplined actions that once required willpower now flow effortlessly. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. There will be days when you falter, moments when laziness wins, and times when you feel like giving up. But discipline isn't defined by never failing, it's defined by always returning. It's the act of recommitting, of choosing again and again to align your actions with your goals. This consistency is what transforms discipline from a fleeting effort into a way of life. In the end, discipline is not a restriction but a liberation. It frees you from the chains of indecision, the weight of procrastination, and the regret of unfulfilled potential. It empowers you to take control of your life, to act with purpose, and to create the future you desire. Lazy thoughts may tempt you with the illusion of ease, but true ease comes from knowing you're living in alignment with your values and goals. Discipline is the key to that alignment, and through it you unlock the freedom to live fully and intentionally.